Welcome, everyone. This is a collaborative podcast episode between myself, Yogi Chris, PhD, and Colin, who is the host of Happiness University, or that's the long version of Happiness U podcast. And from my end, this is Science of Peace. So I hand it over to Colin to introduce his podcast to my audience, and we'll get going. This will be a yoga business kind of interview of me, and probably many secrets will be revealed. So sit back, buckle up, hold on to your brain cells. We got about 20 minutes of mind-blowing content coming to you. Hand it over to Colin Smith. Welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you, Chris. Namaste. So I'm Colin. I am the host of Happiness U. It is a podcast. It is a video. It's really just a platform for people to learn about a lot of the things that you teach yourself. So it's spirituality. It is about the science behind well-being overall. So I'm really excited to get started about this, to kind of learn about what it takes to be a teacher, to be in the business of yoga specifically. So last time I remember we talked more generally about, your background and things like that, but I think we're going to be able to hone in on some really good stuff this time. So with that,
kick it off. Where do we begin?
Yeah, I'll kick it right off. I'll do it. So first question I got for you here. Big question. So when people ask you what you do, how do you normally respond?
I ask them a question in return. So I could play with you if you want. It would be something. What do you mean? Like how to make money?
Yes.
I've got a lot of different ventures. How do you make money?
I don't make a lot, but I teach here and there. I do, what I can. I'm actually a yoga teacher right now. I just graduated with my certificate back in May. So that's what I do.
Yeah.
For month.
Yeah. So I think, everybody listening and catching the recording, listen to the tonality of somebody when you ask them, what do they do? How do they sound when they say it? And that's going to give you a clue onto what they really feel about what they do.
How do you mean?
You can't hide your mind as soon as you start talking. The tonality of how you talk about what you do is how you feel about what you do.
So when you say, I go on adventures, what do you mean? If I were to ask you the next step then, sort of, what's the next progression? If I were to say, what do you mean by I go on adventures to make money? What does that mean?
I never said I go on adventures to make money. Who said that?
Oh, I thought you said that. What did you say?
I said I have a lot of ways. I make money a lot of ways. How do you make money?
Okay. So name.
Right? Is that you heard? Maybe sometimes I think I said something and the other person's like, no, you said that. And then sometimes there's two people confirming that I actually said the other thing. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm going crazy. Anyone please confirm what I said? Or that's fine. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, no worries.
Your self-esteem definitely comes through when you're an entrepreneur. How you talk about what you do, how passionate you are about it. Listen, a winner is not a bank account. It's not a number in a bank account. A winning mindset, you can't keep, I say this saying all the time, you can't keep a winner from winning. If he's a winner inside, he's a winner. And he will win. The universe got to recognize, but he puts enough of himself out there so that they can cognize it a first time, and then they can recognize it later. So they recognize you based on how much you put yourself out there and are consistent with your frequency. And part of your frequency, there's many layers, it's many layers of frequency, but part of your frequency, a big part, is your tonality when you speak. So how you sound when you talk about what you do shows the other person how you feel about what you do in that moment. Just in that moment. It's just a feel in the moment. If Donald Trump asked me what do I might stutter a little bit. But if a guy that looks up to me asks me what do I might roar like a lion. So it's relative kind of thing. So that's what I would say on that.
So it kind of works as a feedback loop. It's the way what I'm getting from it is the more that you have kind of reinforced that in your head about what I do, because the way that I see it is when people ask me what I do now, it's kind of like, I feel the need to justify it based on the situation. So I think you're definitely right in that regard. Like if I'm talking to a relative that's older and, it's like, we get together for these family gatherings and it's like, oh, what are you doing now? Well, I feel the need to create more of an answer. And you're right. Like if I were to talk to someone like my friend and they would ask me what I do, I would be like, honestly, I kind of just mess around most of the time. Like right now I'm actually with my friend here at his apartment. We're just making music. That's what we were doing before this. And so I guess I would definitely explain it in a different way based on who I'm explaining it to.
You got to come back to the outcome, what effect.
What effect are you trying to create? If you're not cognizant of what effect you're creating with your communication, then you're just going to create the same effect that was created on you when you were a child. You never revisit that. So 100% of the time, people ask me until when? It's like until forever. Forever, you must be aware of what effect you create with your communication. And otherwise, you'll be caught in this place of, I don't care enough to care about what effect I'm creating. I just want to do this thing. But then sometimes that want fades because, even if you have your favorite dish at the buffet, you're going to try some other things. If you have that favorite activity you love in life, you're still going to put it down and do something else. When you go and do something else, then you're going to see that your communication is not creating the results you want. You're going to want to persuade the world to organize around you, cooperate, befriend you.
And so how do you get that? Do you get that by giving up more control or not trying to like rationalize it so much? Or is it more
skills.
Something?
Get skills. You got to get skills and you got to get a vision. And you're motivated to get skills until you have a vision. But you don't have a vision until you find someone that can talk to you the right way. Or you read it, which is still talking through printed words, indirect kind of thing, but really talking. Communication's always key, like Anna says on Zoom or IG. Guys, you can always come to Zoom. Zoom is over here. Is also super awesome. Link is in the bio. Communication can't be, but it's, I don't know how to inspire it in people. I think people just see it. They're ready to see it when they're ready to see it. Everything else is futile. Focus on anything besides communication is futile. Now, you still do things. It's not like 24/7 you're reading communication books. It's not even communication. It's practicing reading. Communication is organic with people. But you still study skills, right? And everything you do becomes communication because this is my yoga. This is Ninth Limb brand yoga. So right now I'm just going into, maybe I'm going on a tirade. I don't want to necessarily lecture. I'll hand it back over to you if you have any questions.
No, I think you're actually segueing well into the next thing. Like when you talked about vision, what was your vision then when you set out to become a spiritual teacher? What was your vision that led you to acquire these skills? Because I know you acquired a lot of these skills while traveling. You met a lot of teachers on your travels. So what was your vision when you first set out?
I didn't really learn the skills too much traveling. I traveled to teach. I went to India and I studied with two guys. And my main teacher in life is Arash Bazar. And the emphasis on communication, how to activate the neurology in the mind. And then just with my, as he would say, he has this concept called a chi line, which is a word that basically represents a lineage of teachings through time. And you will be able to learn things about the universe based on your filters and your subconscious and what words you're describing and what you've trained yourself to look at, what you're conditioned to see. And then your understandings, and you'll create new understandings. Wherever you're at, you play music, you do yoga, you teach yoga, you do business, marketing, internet, anything you do in life, you're going to get better at it because as you do it, you become more familiar with it, and then you just see innovations and deviations and blah, blah, blah. What's up, Ace? So everybody can mute if you're on Zoom. So why I'm saying this is, what was I saying right before that, actually?
I think you were talking about sort of the how you didn't really acquire the skills so much traveling, but then you were talking about Arash, how you met him in India.
Yeah. And, anyway, so I learned communication when I opened up communication. So anyway, he has this concept of the chi line. So Arash has this way of communicating, and he has this way of engaging the imagination and really helping to point your vision, your inner vision, very well. Basically he has these two sides of a coin that he'll teach is imagination and communication. Imagination, communication. They're so related. And so I, as a yogi, came to that, and I was ready. I was aligned inside to receive the information. Just boom, it lined up. And so I added a flavor to it because I have access to a different lineage than he does because I'm a yogi.
And he's not.
The martial arts.
Okay.
He practices yoga.
I
And
didn't even know that. Yeah.
yoga is much more than the direct lineage, but there is a benefit to the lineage. You can say somebody like, let's say somebody was sewing. They were inventing clothing or something in ancient China, but then someone over in ancient Rome was also inventing a kind of clothing. And maybe they never communicated with each other, but they were both doing this thing that had a very similar frequency of experience, very similar frequency of, decisions and choices and, obstacles and business and blah, blah, blah. It's like the same thing, but they're totally different. They're part of a lineage, even though they're not part of the same direct lineage of, people. So Arash and I are part of the same lineage, ethereally. And me and him, I am in the lineage because I'm his student. So that there's a direct connection now. But as far as what we bring to our present time lineage, I bring to it my yoga, he brings to it his martial arts and Scientology and whatever the fuck else, so many things that he's, really great at. Pickup and dating.
Yeah. So what led into sort of your opportunity then? I'll circle back to sort of what led you to take the step where you were going to be like, all right, I'm here. Now I'm going to travel and take these teachings elsewhere. Because I'm kind of in that position where Arash, he led you to take that step.
No. Nobody lets me take the step. I let myself.
Well, I said led you. I said led you.
Oh, led me?
Led you to take that step or put you on the path to taking that step.
No, he communicated with me and opened my vision to what I wanted for myself. And over time, through teachings, I have ignited a fire that's just dormant potential energy in us all. Through discipline, practice, persistence, the things that make you strong. Just like if you were in the gym, that would make you strong. It makes you mentally strong. And so I stoked that fire to fuel the actions needed towards the vision. But I needed the vision, so I knew where I was going. Otherwise, I was just wandering through the forest. So I had a distant mountain peak to look at and keep me on north or south or whatever direction. So, I met him through YouTube and then bought a product or two. And then I was doing some coaching with one of his coaches, kind of like I am for him now, like one of those coaches worked for him. But that guy was corrupted and he left. He was kicked out. And then through that, I got to directly interact with Arash, via video like this, directly via video. And he sold me a one-on-one, so I flew out there, met him, and that started, a lot of investing, time, money, some tears, of just, he opened up a vision in me that I immediately took back, applied. The material success was not as abundant, you could say, as the, like when you're playing music and you hit that harmony and you guys are in dissonance, and then you hit that harmony and then you jam on that harmony for a while and you end the song just perfect and it's like, holy fuck, where'd that come from? And it's like,
yeah.
Harmony, sometimes it doesn't matter that not a lot of people heard it. But then immediately afterwards, you're like, I wish a lot of people heard that. So then you get on this urge of like, oh, I feel so aligned with my yoga. Now I got to go make a business out of it because people got to know how to do this kind of yoga. And there ain't no other reason. Nothing's going to stop me. I'm an unstoppable force because I'm not myself. I'm just a wave of frequencies and just like photons. I'm a vision. I'm a manifest of a vision.
Yeah. I remember I saw this post that you had pretty recently. I don't know where you were, like out on a body of water or something, like on this log. And it was just, it was really powerful, the message. It was just like, I am like the faceless, nameless I am. And I thought that was just really cool because I've been reading into the sutras. I'm always trying to like keep up with the sutras. And it's just the fact that the seer exists or nature exists for the purpose of the seer. And so I don't know if you want to explain, kind of go more into that, like that post specifically, just like the I amness, the fact that you don't have an identity. You just are, like you are the seer.
You have an identity, but you are not your identity, but you have an identity. And people,
Right.
they go both ways. They ignore the spiritual, that I have a self, that there's something in me that's looking at my internal experience. And the more I try to identify it by looking at it, the more I fall away from anything that can be identified, and yet I maintain awareness. So if that's confusing, if you don't know what I'm talking about, in the Silent Flute, which is my online training program, I have a 10-minute video, a process. I have many videos in the program, but that's one that I give a lot of people to help you experience yourself as separate from your mind and have a clear distinction, and it's real for you. And everybody, it's like 99, maybe 97% success rate. Some people don't have the attention span to keep up with the process and they don't get it. And it's also one of my viral videos on YouTube, but in the Silent Flute, I do it better. I do it differently. Anyway, so the feminine, the nature, the cyclic existence, the story goes that it's made for the masculine. It's made for the awareness. The awareness was bored with itself, and out of the potential energy, the 0 point, came the 1. And emerged the material for the divine, the God in all of us to witness and be entertained by. And the cosmic universe, which is only ever in your mind anyway, because you're only aware of what you're aware of, and everything out of your awareness you're not aware of. So the universe exists only in your mind. And that is the movie that is to entertain. You could say the witness of the movie, the audience, which is the seer. But it's conceptual until you detach from it. So there's processes. The mind is made of code. It's like written code, some picture code, but that's what written code is. It's just symbols of pictures. And the mind is coded. It's encoded. So there are certain codes that hack the mind. They're mental hacks. And when you can kind of put the mind into like an infinite loop, or you can pause the mind intentionally with some spells, then the witness can become easier to see. To not even to see, to the witness. You see the mind looping. Anyway, it's all conceptual. It's a process. I'm trying to describe a process that there's a direct hack to it.
Language only goes so far, too. I've always found like language always comes up short when you try to talk about this kind of stuff. In my experience,
yeah. I mean, talk about it. It's funny because language got me to it, but language it's a hard time describing it with language. That's why we use the word like seer. What is seer? So we're dancing around it, and it's that classic. I mean, what's the sound of one hand clapping? How can the eyeball see itself? Blah 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 blah. But yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of magic in this. Basically, the spell. If I was going to take a little clip from my own Instagram live, it'd be the very end right here, because I'm about to have to go through security, and then maybe we'll just talk about like how people can find the podcast, and any last little calls to action.
Okay.
But basically, this is the magic of it. You identify with the seer, then you intend your vision. So you create the energy, you see the picture, but then you keep looking at it from the position of seer. Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. It takes focus, concentration, persistence, emotional control, and proper nervous system. Breathe, keep looking at the picture, keep feeling the feeling, keep being the one looking and feeling, not the feeling. Keep separating. Hold that until the feeling kind of dissipates. Almost like if you had an itch that you didn't scratch, eventually goes away. Then go about your day. That's your morning ritual. And you set your vibe every morning with that. Now, there's more you can do. You can do it all day. Ideally, you hold the vibe all day. This is called law of attraction. So this is what I teach in the Silent Flute. So that's my pitch. Go to ninthbloom.com, check out the Silent Flute, and how would my viewers find all of you have interviews with lots of people that are succeeding, a decade or more after high school, and different perspectives. If anybody's interested in that, how would they find that?
Yeah, so we are on Spotify. It's Happiness U, Re-educating the Youth. And so find us on Spotify, find us on iTunes podcasts. I'll probably put this video on YouTube, try to get our YouTube channel started. Right now, all I have is yoga instructional videos. So I think it'll be good to have something more like this for people who are interested in that. And then, as always, thank you, Chris. Thank you for your time. Thank you for providing this quick little lesson. I know we didn't have quite as much time as we might have liked, but I get it. You're a busy guy. So thanks.
You're most welcome. And anytime. Namaste, brother.